Welcome back to the Anorak Entertainment Podcast, everybody. I am your host, Don Martino, and today we're going to be talking about all sorts of fun stuff. Got some trailers to go through for sure. We also have some Battlefront 3 news to go over, which is pretty big. EA hasn't really teased anything so far, but now they finally are. Also lots of other fun stories. We got Rob Zombie's Monsters confirmed, and boy do I got some beef with that. Not the fact that Rob Zombie's doing it, but you'll find out here in just a little bit. But hey guys, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave some feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications. So also, I am not here by myself, of course. We do have Cisco Scartozzi with us. Cisco, how are you doing today?
I'm tired, but we're gonna get through this ginormous news feed we have today because we missed last week.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I'm here. We're ready. Let's get going.
And that was my fault. But
it's all good.
We're back. All right. And then also on the news, maybe is Miss Samee Ramirez.
On the news, yes. The hell are you talking about? On the news, yes. All right. Samee Ramirez. Hello.
We shall see. Is that a Star Wars line? Somebody says that, right? We shall see. Oh, Snoke says it in Force Awakens anyway. But yeah.
You underestimate my power.
Excellent.
Do it. So I got my new vehicle today, folks. I'm happy to say that I finally did. Got myself
man.
Got myself a Nissan Rogue. It's my first SUV, so it's different. But I wanted an SUV.
Riding high, huh? Riding heavy.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I actually, when my catalytic converters went out, I test drove an SUV, and I was like, why haven't I had an SUV this whole time? There's something about the amount of safety you feel with an SUV that you just need an SUV for that reason. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't gotten one yet. I think it's a really, really awesome fucking vehicle. I got an announcement today too for the channel. So this is exciting. So we've been talking about this for a while, and it is happening. I think it's going to happen this week. I think the first episode's going to air this week. Stand by on that, everybody, but I'm pretty sure it'll air here in a couple days. But I've been, negotiating with the Red Eclectic, who's been on this channel many times. I'm talking about Mr. Adam Leach. We have figured it out. He is going to be coming on. He and I are going to be doing a show together called The Monthly Mumble. It's going to air once a month. He and I are just going to sit down and shoot the shit. It'll be a lot different than our other shows. It's literally just going to be us shooting the shit, nothing else. There's not going to be, we might bring up movies once in a while, but for the most part, it's just going to be he and I just hanging out and talking the way we did back in our FYE days. So should be fun.
What's it called again?
It's going to be called The Monthly Mumble.
Monthly Mumble. Yeah, okay.
It's going to be us talking. That's it.
Yeah.
Not much of an announcement, but if you guys care to tune in. I mean, it could be fun. Who knows? But yeah, how's your guys' week been? Is there anything fun that you did, or anybody? Bueller?
Busy as hell.
Busy week.
A lot of shows. I had car issues as well, but got that taken care of.
Oh, what happened to your car?
I don't want to get into it's a long ass story, but
okay.
I hit a pothole basically, and then some shit sounded fucked up underneath, but it ended up not being that bad. So thank God for that.
That's good.
Yeah. So because it sounded like a lot worse. Like it sounded bad, but got it taken care of, and I've been doing a lot of shows. Me and Edwin invited me. I haven't really been plugging it anywhere, but I've been also really busy because we're covering this film festival online, the Full Frame documentary film festival. It's all documentaries, and so I've just been watching hella documentaries. And I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of documentaries are depressing as hell.
Yes.
So on top of being tired and stressed, and busy. Yeah, that didn't help that they were all sad. So.
Yeah. Unless you're watching Bo Burnham's Inside, don't watch documentaries. I don't even know if I consider that a documentary, but it's the closest thing.
Oh man,
that is cinema. That's a film.
It's cinema.
Inside.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
It's full Italian cinema.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I got a couple more to write, but for the most part, I'm done with my reviews on my films. I mean, I'd say it's a lot of good ones though. Even though, like I said, it's documentaries are some serious heavy shit.
For sure.
So
for sure.
But yeah,
I agree. They're you can go down a rabbit hole with those for sure.
I'll tell you the worst one. Even though like I think it's good documentary filmmaking and it's good movie and topic, but I just think it's too soon, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Was there's a COVID documentary about how it got started.
Yeah.
Like including footage of like, you know, in Wuhan at the time and in China, and I was like, dude, it was like Contagion, like the Soderbergh movie. It was fucking horrifying. I was like, oh my god, I was not ready. But I think that one's coming to HBO soon, so cool. Everyone will be able to see that one. But man,
sweet.
that was a rough watch to like even a year later to like just. I got PTSD. Like I said, I'm like, oh god, I remember the moment everyone knew that this whole year is fucked. Like we're not doing anything for a whole year.
Right.
Oof.
I actually remember it too. For me, it was the moment that Quiet Place 2 got delayed. Like honestly, that was when I knew. I was like, oh well, then this is fucking big. Like this is huge if they're gonna push it.
I have a funny one because it was actually at a show, like a live show with a ton of people.
Oh really?
You know, as ironic as that sounds, I was at a Dave Chappelle stand-up show.
Oh cool.
Oh, nice.
And it was sold out. It was packed. But right before the show started is when the NBA announced they were shutting down, and so like the mood and the vibe in that place was like so paranoid and like people not really trying to talk to each other, and like it was just even Chappelle did like an icebreaker type joke about it because I feel like he could feel that in the air.
Yeah,
it was really and then Tom Hanks got COVID that same day as well. I remember.
Yep, that was all in one day.
That was the day where I was like, oh shit, like there's no coming back from this. You know what I mean? Like
exactly
for a while.
I recall. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I really like. I'm not trying to exaggerate. Like it really did feel like the world was ending. Like it was the beginning of the apocalypse. You know, it really did.
Exactly.
It was weird.
I mean, I'll say A Quiet Place 2, I think the pandemic actually helped it make that scarier, honestly.
Probably.
Because I was getting vibes like that. Even John Krasinski said in that Conan interview, man, that he it was inadvertent, but he feels that as well.
Oh yeah.
There's some connections there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I agree for sure. It's like he kind of struck oil with that, you know, with like it was luck, you know. I think that he had those connections. I mean, I'm sure he's not grateful we had to go through that or anything, but still, it's just like damn, like it really did boost his movie. But no, because I mean, even I was thinking about the pandemic and just like all the things that I'm actually grateful for that came out of it, like because there are a lot of good shit. There's a lot of good shit too. I wouldn't be doing this. You and I probably wouldn't be having this conversation had it not been for the pandemic, just because
Stereo would Stereo have been made if it wasn't for the pandemic?
Not.
You know
No,
what I mean?
exactly. So we would
have met each other,
right? No, I wasn't. I was done with YouTube before the pandemic hit, and then it was like once it hit, that's when
there's
I got
nothing
back.
to do. Nothing to do now.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was just like my mindset of it was part of it. Don't get me wrong, but like my mindset was like I feel like if I can do anything for people, it's to go out there and talk about movies online. You know, again, and that was my contribution to hopefully help people because it's the least I can do. I mean, you know, I don't know. I just it was and I was
dude, and I had to finish college and graduate college fucking in the midst, like the beginning stages when we didn't know anything. That was just an added layer of just anxiety. It was terrible, man.
Yeah.
Didn't even get a graduation. Didn't get to walk across the stage.
Damn,
that.
Dude. That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Yep.
I couldn't imagine doing that, but
I know it's rough. But I mean, we're here now. Not wearing masks in public anymore.
Yeah.
My job does not require
exactly.
it. And kind of getting used to it now and getting back to it. It's still a little weird, but I mean, I'm vaxxed.
Rejoice.
I did what I did. I did my part. And hopefully everyone does their part.
Yeah, that's all we could really hope for at this point. Yeah, we're rejoicing in that. I mean, it's been awesome to like finally feel we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I think for the first time.
We are. I mean, movies, dude. I made a post the other day, and I'm glad like a lot of people were liking it and stuff. So I'm like, hopefully they agree with me. But I was like, between Cruella, Quiet Place 2, Conjuring 3, and In the Heights, which is coming this week, and I can't wait for y'all to see that. Movies are back. Like I have not felt like this excited about movies in over a year. So I think movies are back. I did.
Is it embargoed still?
I don't think so. No, because people have been critics have been watching it for like ever. It's been available to critics for a while. I feel like.
Oh yeah, you know what? I saw somebody do a review on it today. You're right. It's not embargoed anymore. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. All right. So they at least say this was it good. Then it was good.
Yep. Okay. I mean, we're reviewing it on Saturday matinee this weekend, but I will tell you, like, I think it's probably my favorite movie of the year, man. It's that good.
High praise. High praise. I'm a massive John
and I'm not even
Chu fan.
I'm not even a musical guy. Think about that. I'm not even a musical person, and I loved it that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like you're very an Usnavi type of person. You know what I mean? Like I keep thinking about like, of course you do because you're Usnavi. Like I was like,
I never thought about that.
Of all the musicals,
I mean, that's probably true.
You know what I mean? Because this is true. There's a pattern with there's a lot of people who there's like they don't like musicals except for like the one.
Yeah.
Like for a lot of people, like it's Grease. Like they like Grease and nothing.
I liked Grease when I was a kid too. I thought Grease was good. I mean, I'm trying to think. The last musical I liked, I want to say, was Greatest Showman. Maybe I saw that in a theater and I thought that was great.
Yeah, it is great.
But that's been a while. It's been a couple years now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you for verifying that it's great because I think it's great. I love Greatest Showman. And Samee,
I know. Me and Edwin disagree on that, and I disagree with it on a bunch of people too. But I thought it was
great.
Again, I'm not a musical person. I can only go by what it makes me feel like and what speaks to me. And that movie just made me feel good when I watched it. It's a feel good movie.
Yeah.
Same thing with In the Heights.
Music's great.
See In the Heights in the theater, by the way. Yeah. Go to the theater. I mean, you can see it on HBO Max.
I want to.
This is what you got to do. See it in the theater, then go home, and then fire it up on HBO Max because you're gonna want to. That's what I'm gonna do. As soon as it comes on HBO Max, I'm probably, if I don't go and see it in the theater again, I'm gonna see it on HBO Max. Yeah. So yeah.
Samee made me feel like shit though when I told her I like Greatest Showman.
Really?
I did not. Listen, I like the music. Listen,
dude, I had that soundtrack stuck in my head for like weeks after that.
It's a good soundtrack. It's a really good soundtrack. I think it could be like a good Broadway musical. I think it's not as like a movie musical. I was like, it's fine. It's whatever. The music was great. I'm sure if they did it on a stage, I would love it.
I mean, we'll talk Hugh Jackman later on in this episode.
I also hate.
I mean, Hugh Jackman. Come on now.
Exactly.
Great.
I also it really rubbed me the wrong way that they're like the whole time, what is her name? Like Jenny Lind, right? They're like, she's the best soprano. She's a soprano. She's the world famous soprano. Her voice is so great. She's a soprano. And then she sings this like low alto, like pop song.
Oh my.
And I was like,
I'm not thinking about that shit.
Are you kidding? I was like, are you kidding me?
I don't know anything about that.
You know, Samee, the song was beautiful and it made me feel good in my heart, and that's all that matters.
I didn't even like the song that much. That's probably my least favorite song. That's probably the one I skip every single time when I listen to it.
It sounded like a Celine Dion song, but better.
No.
Yes, it did.
I didn't like it. Nuh-uh.
All right, and then guys,
I love the Rewrite the Stars. I love that song. I love the one at the end. From Now On, I think it's called.
Yeah.
You know,
you better like Rewrite the Stars. It's Zendaya.
I know, I do. I know. Zendaya and Zac Efron. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
they were good too.
Of course, I loved
it. They were great in the movie. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why people.
Well, yeah, no spoilers, but there is a Hamilton reference in the Heights.
Oh, is there?
So
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty. It was funny because I almost didn't get it, but I was with my mom. She was like, you get it? I'm like, oh, okay.
I'll get it.
I'm hyped because again, like I'm a big fan of the musical. I know that musical inside and out.
Yeah, you guys will get it. I'm sure you guys will get it.
Yeah, I've seen Hamilton like 87 times now. I'm sure I'll get it.
Yeah, no, Hamilton and In the Heights. I could sing the soundtrack front and back.
But no, my theater. I mean, even when I saw it in the theater, my theater was clapping at the end. You know what I mean? How rare is that? You know what I mean? Like it was my theater was amped like for most of the movie, and then at the end, even you know what I mean? That's how I knew. I'm like, damn, this movie's special. Yeah. Right here.
All right, I can't wait. Yep. And I had high hopes. I'm a huge John M. Chu fan. I think he's a great director.
Me too. I love Crazy Rich Asians. I think I like this one even more, honestly.
Wow. It's holy shit. Yeah. That's big praise, man.
So, high praise. Man.
It is a musical written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
It's his bread and butter. It's his bread and butter. So yeah,
for sure.
Go see it. Go see it, guys.
All right, I'm ready to get into some news. Samee?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Cool. All right. So first things first, we have, like you said, Rob Zombie. It's confirmed he is directing a new Monsters movie. That's pretty much all the information we have. Not much more, just Rob Zombie presents the Monsters. What do you guys got? We have talked about this before when it was just in speculation, but now it is 100% confirmed
I remember
by
that.
Rob Zombie himself.
Yeah, do you remember why we talked about it? Because it was in speculation?
You know, I'm not gonna lie and say I remember.
Okay, that's because it's the very first fucking scoop that we broke, people. And did Variety give us credit on that? No, right. I brought that to the attention. It wasn't even a story yet, and we broke it, and we did not get any credit on this one. It's fine. We're not reputable enough, I guess.
No.
But we broke this a long time ago. I just want to point it out there. We did
talk about it a while ago.
Yes, we broke this a long time ago. I told you guys. It was on some... I mean, I had it first because Samee and I talked about it on a stereo once I got the news. And then we talked about it, and by the time we were talking about it, some other random website ran with the story. But Samee and I broke it on stereo. That was the first time it was ever brought up. I think ever. So I had that scoop a long time ago. Anyway, point
not
being,
to brag or anything.
Not to brag or anything, exactly. Give us credit, Variety. Come on, we had this one. We did. Come on now. Oh, man. See? I do have good sources sometimes, though. This does prove it.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, yeah, I'm excited in a way, actually. I know how big of a Monsters fan Rob Zombie is. I'm a huge fan of the Monsters myself, so it will be precious to me, and I will be looking for things, but, you know, just to, you know, see how well it holds up to the original. But yeah, if Rob Zombie's a fan of it, I said this from the beginning, let him do it. If he wants to do it, let him do it. I'm not the biggest Rob Zombie fan, but if he wants to do this, great, let him do it. I'm good with that. Just don't make hillbilly monsters, please. I'd really rather not. If they're the original monsters, or not the originals, they could be their own thing, but let's not do hillbilly monsters. Come on, this time we can avoid that. And I think because he is such a big fan, he probably will, but yeah, I'm just, I don't know, Cisco, what do you got?
No, like, as I've seen some really funny, like, Twitter reactions on the story, honestly, about, like, you know, people think, like, the hillbilly monsters version of, like, you know, Frankenstein walking in and telling his stepdaughter, like, you got a nice ass, you look nice in them jeans, like, and then the wife crying and shit, and, like, let's hope it's not that. Okay, and that's my point. It goes to my point. Like, my one hope is that Rob Zombie is not writing this thing, because I think he's a talented artist, musically, visually, writing wise. No, he doesn't know how to write characters you care about and, like, interesting, dimensional. I mean, it works for certain movies like the Firefly trilogy, and you know, I defend the Halloween remake. I know some people hate that movie. Whatever, I think it's fine, but I mean, his other, I don't even consider myself a Rob Zombie fan, but you can't deny this guy lives for this shit. He's like he said he's been chasing this thing down for 20 years. He's a universal monster, like, head, you know what I mean? So I can't see him, you know what I mean, not trying to do the best that he can with this. So, like, I think visually it'll be good. I also hope, like, he's not in charge of the casting, because someone was like, is Sherry Moon Zombie already confirmed as the lead female role?
She'll be in it somewhere. You know she will.
If Rob Zombie's casting it, she's gonna be the lead. So, but those are my two hopes. Besides that, as far as him behind the chair, I think that's a good move and kind of a ballsy move. It's a lot of people would try and play it safe and get like a safer, like kid friendly, director. But yeah, I kind of applaud them for not doing that and taking a chance with Zombie.
I'm gonna assume that Universal, keeps it under control for the most part, and if it's not going well, they're gonna shut it down. So I would hope.
Right.
We'll see. I'm sure he'll do pretty well with it. I have a good feeling about this. I don't know. My gut says it's gonna be not bad. It'll be a good adaptation. But anyway, Samee, either have thoughts or what's next?
Yeah, no real thoughts. So we're moving on.
Okay.
So we have also our first teased bit, I guess, of Michael Keaton coming back to play Batman in the new Flash movie by Andy Muschietti. Am I saying his name right?
I say Muschietti.
Muschietti. Andy Muschietti. But yeah, he posted a picture to his Instagram of up close of the Keaton costume and the logo with like drops of blood on it, assumingly alleging that is a part of the movie, that he is coming back, and it is confirmed that he is coming back. But we have our first real look at it. What do you guys got about this? It's a cool picture.
I'm just
Can't
wondering.
Wait for a trailer.
He's in it for sure.
I'm just wondering, are we doing the main topic last, or what's going on with that?
Oh, that's next. Main topic's next.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know when we started putting in the middle, but that's all right. But anyway,
Okay,
anyway, sorry. But anyway, no big deal. But yeah, no, I mean, it's confirmed, right? I mean, Muschietti's been talking about this for a long time, I think, and we heard this story a long time ago. Big trades were picking.
We talked about this earlier too with with Michael Keaton, yeah.
Right.
Another one we talked about.
Michael Keaton earlier can say what he wants to try to throw us off. He's in the movie, and yes, the image was pretty cool. It's just like that extra bit of yes, he's in here, guys. It's really nice to see, and I'm excited. I mean, Flash might be one of the biggest box office sweeps in DC, in this DCEU, just based on that. So it's a good business move if you can get them in there, for sure. I just hope it's executed just as well as we hope, and good luck to them. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I think it's not much to say on it, honestly, but I think just the iconography of the bat logo is so cool by itself.
For sure.
And then just to have like the blood on it, it kind of reminded me of like Watchmen with like the smiley face with the blood on it. It's just like an iconic image from the graphic novel. And I mean, Muschietti's a horror director. Maybe there's going to be some horror elements in it. Who knows? And then, I didn't know this when I was reading the article, but I guess, I mean, it makes sense with the Flashpoint, like paradox thing, but like that Michael Keaton is basically Ben Affleck's Batman or whatever. That's what they referred to him as. But just like in a different universe. Like that's the first time I've heard that kind of said though in an article. So I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like that they're calling him that, I guess. But it's just gonna be cool to see Keaton back. Honestly, I love that guy. For him to put on the costume again, it's like getting Harrison Ford as Indy back. It's just like you put on the costume, you're embodying this iconic character, and I want to see it as soon as possible, please.
For sure. Samee, what do we got next?
So next up we have Battlefront 3 being teased by EA. It's the first time we're getting teased about the new game. I have literally zero knowledge about any of this. I don't play the Star Wars games. So Dom, what you got?
I'm there with you, kind of.
I guess I'll take the heat on this one. This story was in the form of a video only because I couldn't find anybody else talking about it. For whatever reason, nobody picked this up in an article anywhere. So unfortunately, it had to be in a video this week. So I'll kind of explain the situation a little bit further here. So this is actually kind of cool because not only is this the Battlefront 3 of the new EA iterations of the Battlefront series, but also, you know, it's almost going to be like making up for that Battlefront 3 that we never got back in the day, you know. And I hope that they take some of that old design. I actually saw another video of a guy actually got the it was a very rough version of that Battlefront 3 that never came out back in the day, but it was pretty cool. But anyway, so this guy, the Aussie Jedi, brought this to my attention on YouTube, and I think that this is worth talking about because EA, as far as we knew, was going to pull the plug on a Battlefront on the Battlefront thing. You know, I think that they were trying to end with Battlefront 2. But this is another case of where the fans just kind of won, you know, on this one. And I think that this was a necessary, very warranted campaign, because what EA essentially did is they had a very poor game upon launch with Battlefront 2, and then, you know, they basically put out a ton of DLC to fix that game. So by the time we were, you know, they pulled the plug on it, the game was fucking amazing, and all we wanted to see was them keep building on it. And they even already pretty much said at this point they were going to add Ahsoka to that game and Asajj Ventress and great characters before they pulled the plug. So I guess one point I want to make is if they're going to go with a Battlefront 3 here, I hope that they actually make it that great, amazing game upon launch, and we don't have to wait for them to put out DLC after DLC. But I hope it lives up to their Battlefront 2, or the Battlefront 2 that they had before they pulled the plug on updates to it, you know, and then some, you know, and then build on top of that. So if they're designing that, great. I hope they take their time with it. That's awesome. But yeah, this is a pretty big tease. I mean, they didn't blatantly announce that they're doing Battlefront 3, but they did just about everything short of that. Somebody tweeted at them, and they put a GIF up there on the tweet, and it basically, if you see the GIF, it's kind of hard to describe, but it basically shows like, oh no, we're listening to you guys. You know, it's basically what was said. You guys are in good hands. We're listening. This game is. It's going to happen, don't worry, basically. And I thought it was a really good tease, and I'm sure that this will get announced, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but the year after. Yeah, I hope it's the best Star Wars game of all time, as Battlefront games should be. You know, they should be their best games. I like the story-based stuff too, but then that was the other cool thing, is that they, you know, the last Battlefront 2, it had a really great story that added to the canon, you know what I mean? So I hope that they are able to do something like that on the next Battlefront. I hope it's something to do with clones. I've been just loving the Bad Batch, and I would like to play a campaign kind of based somewhere in there, you know. I don't know, that'd be something like that would be very cool. But that's my thoughts on it. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Did anybody play the Battlefront games back in the day, at the very least, by chance, or no?
Okay, so can you just explain, because like, so there's Battlefront and Battlefront 2, but those are for like the newer systems, right? But they also had Battlefront for like the older generations, right?
Yeah, so essentially,
can you just explain the difference to like me and like people that wouldn't know?
100%. Okay. No problem. I'm your guy.
Okay.
So if I'm sure you recall the Battlefront games coming out back before Disney had even bought Star Wars, right? So
I remember
that was Battlefront and Battlefront 2. They never got around to Battlefront 3. But they were
going to do that though.
They were supposed to, and then they could never get it right, and then Disney bought them, and by that time it was like, we're just going to reboot the Battlefront series, and we're going to rework the Battlefront stuff into our own canon, which was fine.
Okay.
And again, like I said, with Battlefront 2, they definitely made an amazing game by the time they, you know, added all the DLC, which was all free, by the way. It was nothing you had to pay for.
Nice.
That was it wasn't like usually, you know, hey, pay $50 to get the season pass. It wasn't one of those
Mortal
things.
Kombat.
Right, exactly. Everything downloadable content, anything they would add to the game, you got for free, every single thing. So that was awesome.
That's cool.
And yeah, the game that it became and the game that it is right now is a fantastic fucking game. And so people ran a campaign like, give us Battlefront back, and somebody had asked about a Battlefront 3, and they basically said like, hey, we're watching, we're paying attention, you know what I mean? We know what you guys want. And so this is a big deal. Again, it's not a confirmed thing, but if you watch what happened here, it looks like all signs point to, yes, we are going to do Battlefront 3.
So it's like a Battlefront 3 for the new generations, but it's also like for the old. We know we fucked up the first time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna basically combine the two, but you know what I mean, make it a official Battlefront 3. Okay,
exactly.
That's all I was kind of confused about.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Exactly, and I think that's why it's such a big deal. And like, if you were a Battlefront player, you kind of felt my pain when the pandemic was going on, because when they announced that, hey, we just don't have the resources right now to have guys on, to keep adding to Battlefront 2 like we were supposed to. We were going to add Ahsoka, we were going to add Asajj Ventress, but we're sorry.
Damn.
But we're gonna give you Darth Maul with no legs. Hey, have fun with that. But yeah, that was really the last thing that they added, and it keeps you busy for a while. I still haven't unlocked them. You got to get like 5,000 kills with the dark side user, but so it takes a while. But so they gave us something to do to keep us busy till hopefully Battlefront 3 comes out. But still, I just think it's going to be a massive deal, and I hope that they do add another story in there that was even better than the Battlefront 2 one, where it adds to the overall canon, and hopefully adds into some of this Mandalorian stuff or something that could be very cool for it. Their last campaign added a lot to the sequel trilogy, if you ask me, so I just thought it was, I hope they do something like that, and I hope the online is just as great, and if not better than the Battlefront 2. And yeah, I think it's exciting for people that never got that Battlefront 3 back in the day. That's the big added bonus, myself included. I was one of those kids who used to play the Battlefront games and was dying for Battlefront.
I played the old system ones. I remember those. Not really the new ones as much. Yeah. What about the Lego Star Wars? He mentioned that in the video too. Are you excited about that one that they think is coming? They're gonna announce at Star Wars Week or whatever.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I could clear this up, I guess, now that I'm here, because there's something I told Samee a long time ago, and I have a different theory about that now.
Okay.
Samee, you probably remember this text that I sent you about an extended cut of Rise of Skywalker coming.
Right.
Okay. I was sent a tip that Rise of Skywalker is being fixed, and I took that as we're getting an extended cut. That might not necessarily be the case, though.
It's gonna be the game.
It could. I think they're gonna add some stuff to the story in the Lego game. I think. I don't know.
Because it is Luke Skywalker, right? They said, or something.
Oh, this Lego game?
It said something about Skywalker.
Well, it's the Skywalker saga, so it's spanning all 9 movies. They're gonna retell those stories. It's kind of So. I think that's where they're going to add some of the extra things for Rise of Skywalker 2 that we never got to see in the movie. They're going to try to throw it in there a little bit and work it into that game.
Makes sense.
I think. But anyway, I'm excited for that game. Yeah. I just wish it would come out already. It got pushed like twice already, and I'm not quite sure why.
You think they'll make an announcement or no about it? Because wasn't he saying something? Or you think it'll just be the Lego game?
No, I just think people will be surprised that they get like extra nuggets in there. Maybe. I don't think that there will be an announcement of, hey, we're going to throw extra. No, I just think it's going to be like they're going to try to work them in. The only reason I think that now is because of the delay. Because I had heard that they're going to try to fix, quote unquote, Rise of Skywalker. It was just something I got sent a tip about, and I don't know if that's in an extended cut, in a game, whatever. I don't know. In a whole new book, I don't know. But either way, it's something that they're thinking about doing, to my knowledge, and I think that they're going to do it in the game. So I hope so. I think it'll be a surprise for people, though. So it sounds cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sam. What's next?
So next up, we have our first little teaser.
I'm sorry, Samee. Did you have anything to add?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Sorry. I tried to give you a chance to do that, but anyway.
Sorry. No. We have our first look at Shazam 2. I don't really want to call it a trailer. It's not really a trailer, but a little teaser. Yeah. Little teaser. Look cool.
Sneak
Again,
preview.
I'm like, doesn't really change my excitement level. Can't wait for a real trailer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was nice to see Zachary Levi back, and like, hey, I'm doing it. That's always good to see. But Yeah, I mean, what do you say? He's like, "Hey, why are all the lights off?" That's our whole trailer.
Right,
Right
he's like,
there.
it's too dark here.
It was like, yeah, it wasn't even a teaser. It was like a fifth of a teaser. You know, it took
exactly
took 2 seconds to do, and it was a nice little thing. Whatever. It's just a way for DC to say, "Hey, this is happening. We're still working on it." Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, we know our movies are dark as shit most of the time. Let's make fun of ourselves and get ahead of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even something they shot for the movie. You know what I mean? But anyway, go ahead.
Right. Also, I think it's funny because the director, David F. Sandberg, he did that movie Lights Out, that horror movie.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there's a little double.
That's a nice little, yeah.
Yeah, double meaning there about turning the lights on and stuff. Well, I didn't see anybody talking about.
Well, he always does shit like that because if you remember in the first Shazam movie, there's actually a Lights Out reference in there and an Annabelle reference. He makes one to both. So because Annabelle
and a Superman cameo.
That's right.
At the end. I love that part.
Yeah, it's great. It's fucking great. No, because Annabelle's sitting in the pawn shop, and then there's another part where he says, "Meet me after lights out." You know, and so he had a reference to both of his movies.
I miss those. I gotta look out for those next time.
Yeah, definitely do so.
I don't remember those.
Yeah, once you see them, you can't unsee them. You know what I mean?
But that's like James Wan too. James Wan, all his movies has a jigsaw somewhere.
Yeah,
doll head or something. Yeah,
that's true.
I love that. I love those little Easter eggs.
Yeah, but you might be onto something though with the reference over to Lights Out and this little tease. You might be onto something.
You turn on at least one light. He's like, turn on one light at least.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny now I'm thinking about it from that perspective. That's cool. Anyway, Samee, did you have something to
add? No, this is good.
Sure?
Yeah, I like that too. I like the whole thing with it's too dark in here.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it was fun.
Poking fun at themselves. Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
It's fun. Let's see. So next we have Doctor Strange. We have talks that Sam Raimi, director, had to start from scratch when he took over the project. We have a lot just that he really had to start over and that there was a director before and
Scott Derrickson.
Derrickson, exactly. And we have, what is his name? This is with Michael Waldron, who is one of the head writers on the Loki series. I really like he says that in a quote that Doctor Strange is Indiana Jones in a cloak to him, and that's kind of where his understanding is. Too. So I really like that. That's pretty much just the article is, working on their process with it, which again, this is, I speak for all of us, this is one of our most highly anticipated movies.
Oh, for sure.
Of our lifetimes.
Yeah. The only thing that strikes me funny here is like, what is from scratch? You know what I mean? Because is it like we're not going to go that horror route anymore? Or is it we just started from scratch, but we still want it to be a horror film? Because that was going to be the original plan. I think. And Sam Raimi is perfect for horror. You know what I mean? Like I want to see him come back into that element a little bit.
One of the
again.
best. Yeah.
Right. And I think that if you don't, it's a missed opportunity for sure. But I don't know. What do you think, Cisco?
Yeah, it was kind of unclear too to me. But I don't know. I try and be optimistic about these ones where it's like I can't. If it's unclear, I try and look at the positive angle to it. So I just took it as like, they took it in they had to start from scratch as like they're not doing Scott Derrickson and hit. I forget his writer. He has a writer he works with every time too.
Right.
Scott Derrickson in all his movies. And so like they both left and they got replaced. So new writer and Sam Raimi. Yeah. So I just took it as like they had to find like a new direction with, new creative juices with those two replacing them. Yeah. And I think there'll be some horror stuff. I feel like, in the Mind of Madness or whatever, it just sounds horror, like a great horror.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like, I feel like they're aware of like what Sam Raimi's name means. They set up Wanda and the trauma stuff and like WandaVision, and it's like there's so many like horrific things they can. Even the stuff with Vision, I felt like in WandaVision was like horrific, like horror. You know what I mean? Sure. Kind of. And So I feel like they're already dipping their toes, MCU, and hopefully it's like again, being optimistic. Like we didn't get to see Edgar Wright's Ant-Man, but I think ultimately that movie did work out pretty good in the end. You know what I mean? So hopefully we get something like that.
I agree. I just I think Raimi will do well with whatever he needs to do. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie either way. It's just I'll just be a little bummed if they switch gears on us, and was like, oh, we're not going to really do the horror thing anymore. That would be a bummer, but I think it'll make a great movie either way. So either way, we get a great Doctor Strange. But anyway, Samee, did you have anything else to add to that?
No, again, no. I hate to keep disappointing, but I mean, not really.
Do you have any thoughts at all, Samee? No,
literally, I'm like, the thing is, I don't. Not many of these stories are things that I would care about if I weren't doing this show. I'll say that.
Right.
You're a real chatterbox today, I'll tell you. Anyway.
I know.
So they just announced a Cats 2 sequel to Cats, Samee. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I can't wait.
She's so like
excited.
I've been waiting all week for this to not like I wrote a whole essay about this. Let me go.
I know, let me point you to my PowerPoint presentation. I have a Prezi.
How Cats is a masterpiece. A misunderstood masterpiece.
Cats, honestly, Cats is just its own little thing. No, I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to defend it. It's just its own freaking thing. It should not be in movies. It should not be a popular thing in pop culture.
I'll agree with
that.
Cats I'll agree with that.
Its own thing.
I don't understand the popularity of it. Period.
It's literally just Cats. It's called Cats, and that's what it is. It's just Cats.
I was so confused in all of the worst ways during the movie. I uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, that whole movie.
Mm-hmm. God, the ending of that movie, I had never wanted to just kill myself and walk out of the theater more. I was like, I can't. When Judi Dench turned to me and goes, "A cat is not a dog," I was like, I really paid money, and I sat here. The only reason for this,
only reason I watched it was because How Did This Get Made did an episode on it. And I was like, I gotta get prepared for this episode. Let me watch this movie.
Have you heard the direct pipeline, or the direct correlation between the fact that Tom Hooper wins Best Picture for King's Speech
we were
in
talking
2009,
about that earlier.
Right?
Remember that?
And he's up against The Social Network, who I think should have won.
Of course.
But he wins, right? And therefore, Tom Hooper then gets to go and make whatever hell of the movie he wants, gets the clout, gets to make Les Mis, that gets to be a success, so gets to make another musical. And then we have Cats. And all I'm saying is the world has not been the same since Cats came out. The world has gotten worse. The pandemic wasn't a thing until late 2019. You know what else wasn't a thing until late 2019? The movie Cats.
Cats. Just saying.
I'm just saying. There's
I told you I'd get Samee to open up.
I was going to say, Cisco, I want to thank you for bringing up Cats. I think she's awake now, so we can do the show.
Listen, when you ask me something that I have an opinion on, I'll give my opinion.
Well, you don't have an opinion. You don't have an opinion on Strange 2 anymore?
I mean, I can't wait for it, but I'm like, whatever. That's start from scratch. I'm like, okay. And I'll judge it when I see the movie.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. What's next?
Listen, next is Dylan O'Brien in the trailer for Infinite. This also, I'm so sorry. This also just looks like a very kind of basic action movie type thing, and I'm like, Dylan O'Brien looks good.
Had top billing?
You're a fan of his, huh?
Who had top billing there, Samee?
Dylan O'Brien.
I'm very confused too.
He's in it, but he's definitely not top billing.
It says Dylan O'Brien. Number 1, Mark Wahlberg. It says Dylan O'Brien and then Mark Wahlberg. Right, everywhere it says Dylan O'Brien. The Dylan O'Brien movie Infinite. Okay,
you're doing all right now. Keep going. Yeah, you're fine. You're back on track.
We're good. Just making that clear. Anyway, it's out. I didn't care for it.
Let's talk about cats again, huh? Well, how about that? How about that sequel?
What a picture! What a picture!
What a picture! What a talkie!
All right, so I'll cut you some slack. Go ahead.
What do you kids know
Talk
about movies?
the Infinite trailer. Like, I said there you go.
Tell
the Mark
Samee about
Wahlberg
that.
starring
What do I
Infinite.
tell her?
There you go.
Tell Samee about that elderly woman that trolled our stereo talking about, what do you kids know about movies?
Oh, I was there. I remember that.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
Yeah,
he was on that one.
I've done so many stereos.
Babies,
I'm sorry.
What do you know about movies?
I can't keep up with how many I've done.
No, she was actually at that
one. Yeah.
Okay, that was hilarious though. That was Oh my god.
Well,
anyway, there's a trailer for a movie called Infinite. Dylan O'Brien is in it.
And that's all the news we got. Moving on.
Moving on. I actually will talk about.
No,
I'll
talk about the trailer, Samee.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Sorry, couldn't make it to the show today. But listen, this is fun.
Sure. Yeah, I'm having so much fun.
I hope so. Anyway,
I love being harassed.
I'm not harassing you. I'm not harassing.
I know you're not. You're not.
Yeah, you're great.
Talk about the movie.
You're a great person. Anyway, this Antoine Fuqua is finally coming out with another movie, folks. I think that he kind of got screwed on this because, he was mad. Him and Wahlberg both, I think, because it wasn't going straight to theaters only or whatever. Now it's going to go to streaming. Movie looks fun. It was actually not a bad first trailer for a first trailer. Cisco actually brought this to my attention that it was coming out. I saved it for this week specifically, so he can talk about it. So I'm going to turn to him now. Hi, Cisco.
What's up?
Hey.
I think I think it looks okay, honestly though, but I don't know. I'm really do much for me.
Hey, repeat that really quick. That part, it just my sound went out for like 2 seconds there. So sorry about that. That won't happen again.
I was just saying that like Antoine Fuqua and Wahlberg haven't been on their best lately. And so I don't know. It's like I'm looking forward to it, I guess. Like I'll watch it, but like I'm kind of nervous because like this thing, I know I brought it to you. This thing came out of nowhere. Like I was listening to a podcast, like a movie news podcast, and they were like, the host even was like, do you know there's a new Mark Wahlberg movie and Fuqua movie coming out like in a couple weeks? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how have I not heard? Like they were even surprised, like, because I guess they just had not told any news outlets or like announcements or anything like that. So I mean, they dropped the trailer, at least I'll give them that, but it's very late in the game and it's going to Paramount Plus. I have a screener for it, fortunately for me, but I'm like, do people really have Paramount Plus at this point? I don't know. So there's a lot of factors that I'm worried about. But the trailer was okay. I don't know. The cast is pretty good though. You got my man Jason Mantzoukas is in it.
Yeah.
From speaking of How Did This Get Made?
Chiwetel Ejiofor's in it too.
Dylan O'Brien. Yep. Chiwetel Ejiofor. Exactly. Yeah.
I was surprised to see him in a movie like this, to be honest with you. Like, I thought it was
me too.
A little bit below him. No offense to this movie. It might be great.
Me too.
Who knows? But yeah, I was just shocked. I was like, Chiwetel Ejiofor, huh? That was interesting. But anyway, go ahead. What were you saying?
No, that was it pretty much. I'm nervous, but me and Edwin are talking about reviewing it whenever that drops. When does that drop? Did it say?
In like a week. That's the funny thing. The
right?
trailer just dropped. It comes out in like a week. Yeah.
That's the craziest part about it.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. A whole week.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. We'll see. But like I said, Wahlberg, I've not liked his recent action movies, and
right.
Fuqua, I don't remember the last movie I thought was great from him either. So maybe The Equalizer.
I don't know.
Equalizer.
Yeah.
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 So
you didn't like Magnificent Seven? Now that I'm thinking about it, that wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as the original, but it wasn't bad.
Not really.
Okay.
Can't say I liked it.
Fair enough. All right, Samee.
Good cast. Another good cast.
Yeah, definitely.
So next up, it has been confirmed by Disney that there's going to be a sequel to the recently released Cruella. It is expected that Craig Gillespie will come back to direct and Tony McNamara will come back to screenwrite. And of course, Emma Stone will most likely be returning as well. So what do you got for 101 Dalmatians reboot called Cruella 2?
No, go ahead. Just shout them right out when you know them.
What?
Go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah,
Me,
Sam,
what do
you
I
go
think?
on this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
it away.
fine with this. I'm kind of fine with
you're
it.
our
Like I said,
designated
there's
Disney
exactly.
person,
gatekeeper, if you will. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I'm not mad about it. There's a full spoiler review of my thoughts on Cruella on our last episode of Movie Night. And I didn't hate it. I'm not mad that it exists. Like, it's kind of fine. I know. I didn't hate it. There's the things, there are Disney live actions that I like a lot more, and there are some that I hate a lot less. It's kind of middle of the road for me. It's better than Maleficent, though. I'll say that because Maleficent is also kind of middle of the road for me.
So this is a hate a lot less. This is a hate a lot less.
I hated a lot less than we all thought I would, that I thought I would too.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I think that just the thing is, like I said, that so it's gonna be called Cruella 2, but like, come on, it's gonna be 101 Dalmatians.
Right.
It's gonna be that story.
Right. We discussed
Which, I mean, I'm kind of fine with. That's interesting.
They set that
to
up
remake
at the
that,
end.
but through Cruella's point of view, you know?
Right. Yeah.
They do set it up at the end.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I don't hate that to remake that movie, but through Cruella's point of view.
I have a title. I have a title for the sequel. You guys ready for this?
Yeah.
If she doesn't scare you.
Tuella.
Nice. Tuella.
Tuella, Too Furious.
Too Furious. Exactly what I was going to say. Right. Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
Nice. I was going to say probably like a song lyric, like "No evil thing will," or like
Cruella
Electric scare you.
Cruella 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Exactly.
No,
that's the greatest sequel title of all time, right?
Exactly.
Come on. I'm a big fan of also the second Madagascar movie. It's Madagascar Escape the number 2 Africa. I like that one. I always Escape to Africa.
Oh, that's good.
Not
Sister Act 2. Back in the Habit.
Back in the Habit, exactly.
Cruella 2, Back in the Habit.
Back
to the Habit of Murder.
Yeah. I'm trying to, what would they call the sequel? I'm trying, because it's gonna be something basic, you know. There's no way it's like the sequel to Maleficent was Mistress of Evil.
Right. It's probably gonna be Cruella. It's either Cruella something or Cruella 2.
Yeah, or just Cruella 2, right?
Yeah.
No, listen. I mean, this is Samee. You and I kind of talked about it yesterday. I mean, this is the first time that I saw one of these live action adaptations, and it ended, and the first thing I thought to myself was, well, we need a sequel now. I really enjoyed this movie a lot, the first one, and I do think that it's a good beginning to something, you know, because I enjoyed it. It's okay to me that they're going to be doing this, and I think it's a good business move. I think this is their most well-received one overall so far. So yeah, do a sequel. I mean, I don't know how much money it's making necessarily, but the fact that this is already announced tells me
it has to be making a lot of money for them to already announce a sequel.
Well, it tells me that they
business.
It was a kind of a part of the contract, you know, the fact that it was already announced. I think that it was just already a part of the contract. It was like a package deal, you know. It's like, hey, we got this stake, can we get it all greenlit at once, you know?
But if it flopped, I feel like, I don't know. I couldn't see it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it probably did well enough to where they were like, yeah, we're gonna, you know, go with that. But they had
money
it
talks.
In mind
Money's
already.
What talks and gets movies greenlit at the end of the day.
I think Disney watched the movie. I think they knew they had a hit on their hands, and they were like, yeah, hey, you got anything else? You know, I mean, can this go somewhere? And you know, they said, yeah. It's like, okay, I'll tell you what, if it doesn't do well at all, if it's poorly received, then no go. But you know, if it gets high praise as we think it's going to, and are confident that's going to, yeah, we'll announce that sequel right away. I think that was part of the package. But yeah, do you have anything else there, Cisco, that you wanted to say about this?
I also reviewed it. Not last week, but the week before that. The week it opened on Saturday matinee, my show on stereo, and me and Edwin both liked it, to my surprise. That's very rare when we both like something, so and especially Disney related, because we're on the same page too about how the live actions have not been good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is probably my favorite one that they've done. Haven't seen a lot of the like older ones in a while, so I can't. But just as far as like excitement level, I like the cast and everything and how they just executed it. Other than just like the soundtrack being a little much at times, I like it's really fun.
I like the soundtrack. I loved it.
Yeah, but it's like a needle drop every 2 seconds. It's like there's sometimes I'm like, can we get some chance to breathe here for a little bit?
Right. I thought the stylistic, right? I thought the stylistic choices as a whole could sometimes be a lot.
A little much.
Yeah.
But I get like, Edwin, I forgot, but Edwin was talking about how like I, Tonya, like if you think of it through that lens, like this is the same director of I, Tonya. It's a very similar style.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, yeah, it perfectly makes sense. Like it's the same exact like hyper, manic style of that one.
Very true.
I didn't necessarily when it ended think like, oh, I want to see the sequel now. I was like, that's a fun, like one-off. Like I don't know if I need a sequel to this, even though they set it up. Even though they set it up, yeah, exactly. It's a prequel, but I don't know. In the sequel, just like in my head, if I'm like, what I want to. So in the sequel, if they had like they're doing it officially, like I wanted more of her team, her like family of thieves, like you know what I mean. So if in the sequel, I hope
they were my favorite part.
Me too. Yeah, I hope they get I Emma Thompson as well. Like she was amazing. But
yeah.
So, but I
problems with like some of her dialogue I had issues with.
But she was chewing up every scene. She was I just loved her
she's an incredible actress.
Yeah. So, but I hope we get more of Paul Walter
Hauser. Thank you, Cisco. I agree.
Yeah.
I thought he was a highlight. I thought he was definitely a standout. And if you need a comic relief, you get Paul Walter Hauser. He was great in I, Tonya, and he was great in this. I mean, he really works with Gillespie.
Every time I was laughing. Every time he's like, "What's the angle?
Yeah,
what's the angle?"
I know. I did like that. I really did like that.
Dude, there's no angle. We got her a job. That's the angle. Okay. So later we'll do. It's like, oh man, he was all his delivery and his physical comedy too was really good.
Oh my god,
Joel Fry too. I hope. I mean,
I will say, I was like, the only thing is like, I see your Paul Walter Hauser, but I raise you a Joel Fry because the combination.
There are two people I really
like them with Emma Stone, whereas I wouldn't have loved the movie as much as I did. I probably would have had a lot more negative overall opinions if them three weren't so good.
And and in the sequel, I guess too, because I know some people are complaining about like, you don't really get the trying to skin dogs Cruella in this one, which is like from the originals. I'm like, okay, so if
she says multiple times that she would never do that.
Yes, I know. And so my whole thing was like, maybe this is like she's younger, you know what I mean, and she's not at that point yet, and so
that's what I thought too.
So but maybe in the sequel there's gonna be, you know what I mean, they're gonna explain more of how she gets to that point.
There's gonna be precedence for it for sure, I think.
So those are just some things I'm hoping to see. I'm visualizing it, even though I would be good if this was just a one-off. But just now that they've announced it, those are some things I'd like to see more of in the sequel, honestly.
The one thing I'll say without spoiling the movie here, for people who haven't seen it, the one thing I want to mention too about Paul Walter Hauser, best line in the movie is when she tells him the twist of the movie, and he just turns around with the greatest look on his face, and he's just like, "You just blew my mind." I love that. That was amazing.
Well, him and the dog with the eye patch. I mean,
that was good.
MVP of the movie.
I love that part when
that dog
was. Have you ever noticed that people look like their dogs?
The dogs.
No, not really.
How about now? Great stuff.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
More dogs. I mean, obviously, the sequel, there's going to be more dog stuff.
Yeah.
I loved how they use the dogs in it.
Yeah.
Other than the Dalmatians, I don't know. Dalmatians were kind of rough.
I had a little bit of an issue with the way dogs were portrayed.
Well, we know
movie.
that.
They're being abused?
I go on a whole rant about it. No, not they're being abused, but the way that they're written, like the way that they're portrayed.
Stop making dogs thieves.
That's what. No, not that they're thieves, but that they felt such a need to include dogs in the backstory of Cruella de Vil, when fundamentally it's not about the dogs at all. It's about their fur and that she wants to have a beautiful coat. It's not about the dogs. They're just a means to an end. But
you know what they're doing? It's
like
for the dumb person, the dumb person who only knows the cartoons, and they're just like, well, Cruella dogs. We have these associations.
I'm who you're catering to.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm like,
it wasn't for
the
Disney stands like you. It was for the average moviegoer.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's put some cute dogs in here.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I just felt the rest of the movie, I feel like really early on they had the idea, which is not an awful idea, but they had the idea and they loved it of like, okay, her mom gets killed by Dalmatians. That's the thing. Yeah. And then the rest of the time, I know, spoiler alert, sorry.
That clip did go viral though, so I mean,
it
people
did.
Probably have seen that already.
Yeah, it's kind of a meme, honestly.
I get it though. I mean,
kind of funny.
It's like Cisco said though, Samee. It's for that guy, the one that's wrapping up his cheeseburger that whole time in the theater, and nobody's.
He comes in 10 minutes late. That's
who the dogs were in there for.
You're like, who's this crew? Cruella again? Oh, the dog one, the one from the dog movie.
Yeah.
And remember, I did go on a rant about how I hated the name thing from Han Solo. About how he got his name. Oh my god,
I did. Okay. I had that moment. I
cringed. I cringed so hard in this one.
I was like, okay, Solo.
Why? Why do we need an explanation for every single thing about a character? Why?
That one wasn't that bad. Solo was a lot worse.
I agree. Solo was worse.
It's a
Solo
lot
was worse, but I
did have that moment. I was like,
I don't get it. And they even doubled down, but we pronounce it DeVille. I'm like,
right.
Dude, yes.
Yeah. I feel like, thank you, I got it. Thank you. When I watched 101 Dalmatians when I was 7 years old, I got it. Thank you, Disney.
Yeah.
I'm better than this.
Yeah.
Disney, can you treat people with like an ounce of like respect?
Dignity, respect. Yeah.
We know.
It's my nostalgia that you're capitalizing on. I know.
But again, the average person, they want the average person, they're probably like, oh shit.
Right. Oh, dogs.
That is her name.
Yeah. Honestly,
it's the guy who's got butter all over his mouth. He can't get the ketchup and mustard.
At this point, he
his
spilled his burger. He was just in disbelief. Oh my god!
Don't do! Where's the car?
Her name's Cruella de Vil. That's how she got it.
Who would have thought? That's crazy.
He just throws this whole bucket of popcorn.
You know what the sad part is? I knew it was coming. As soon as it pulled up, I'm like, oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. That's what it is. And then that's her name. And then, oh my god, okay, there it is. That's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened. Yeah.
Oh man.
What's next?
Yeah,
what's next? Exactly. Thank you, Cisco.
So next up, we have the official trailer for the new HBO Max movie, directed the new Steven Soderbergh movie, No Sudden Moves, starring Don Cheadle. This is coming out July 1st on HBO Max. I quite like this trailer, actually.
Yes.
I'm intrigued. You got me hooked.
I agree.
I want to know what happens next.
First of all, it's Soderbergh. I mean, which is amazing, and it's obviously like the selling point there for me. But then you got this cast and this amazing premise with a great trailer. I mean, come on, it looked awesome. I cannot wait. I can't wait. That's all I'll say about it. It looks fucking great. It just moved up to my most anticipated for sure. But yeah, Cisco. What do you think?
I don't know if I already did this with this movie, but like I'm just gonna read the cast list because this is insane.
Yeah, go ahead.
Noah Jupe.
Yeah.
Matt Damon. Brandon Fraser. David Harbour. John Hamm. Benicio del Toro. Ray Liotta. Don Cheadle. Kieran Culkin. Amy Simons. Julia Fox. And my man Bill Duke. Yeah. Come on.
That's unbelievable.
Like,
nice.
Do I need to even say anything more?
No.
That cast, that's an all-time cast right there.
Yeah.
That's fucking incredible. Like, and Soderbergh doing a crime movie again. Like, oh man, like I just coming to HBO Max. I'm ready for this thing. Like it's just the way it's lit, the way it's shot. It looks gorgeous, and the way the trailer was edited, I wouldn't be surprised if Soderbergh did that trailer, because that guy is a jack of all trades. He edits his movies, he does the cinematography, he directs. Yeah, that guy. You guys already know I love Soderbergh out here, so I could I could gush for like another 10 minutes, but yeah, I mean it looks great. And you know the caveat, another caveat on IMDb I'm seeing here, 90 minutes.
Yeah,
perfect.
90 minutes.
I think Jim Bob Spill My Butter is gonna really enjoy this one. I think he's gonna love it. I could see him, seeing guys with guns and just fucking, spilling his ketchup everywhere. It's gonna be great. But anyway, Sammy, what'd you already said what you thought of it. So we got through that.
Jim Bob Spill My Butter.
Jim Bob Spill My Butter. Yeah.
That's what I'm laughing about.
Okay.
And Benicio and Don Cheadle are two of his frequent collaborators. You know, they love working with each other. You know that. Sure. You know that if they keep working with each other. So I think they got something here. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah. Next month, only a couple of weeks now. Coming out.
Yeah, I'm excited. Next? Yeah, so next up we have next official trailer for Reminiscence, starring Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, and directed by Lisa Joy of Westworld fame. Yeah. Again, this trailer looked really cool. I'm intrigued. Yeah. I'm hooked. Again, I've just been for the beginning of it with Hugh Jackman's like voiceover. I've heard about 5 million times now because it gets played on YouTube ads all the time.
I'm shocked. I never saw the trailer until I was like on any ads. Like I was on YouTube. You'll get the ads. I was on YouTube and like I just seen the thumbnail for it, like new Hugh Jackman movie, and I was like, oh, what's this? Watch the trailer. And that's when I put it in the chat. I'm like, this looks fucking interesting. Like this looks, because we were talking about Hugh Jackman with Greatest Showman. Like I just post Marvel. What is Hugh Jackman going to do is always a question I think is interesting.
Me too.
And I mean, with Bad Education last year, I thought that was great. And then Greatest Showman, he's making some really interesting choices. And then we got this like sci-fi romance movie with him and Rebecca Ferguson, and with like two of the most gorgeous people having some hot, sweaty scenes in this thing. I'm like, damn, okay, where... like Thandie Newton is in this. I haven't seen her in a minute. Like, right. Yeah, I haven't seen any Westworld, but I just know of it and like the creativity of that. And so I'm a sucker for sci-fi. So give me the sci-fi, and like even just the, speaking of pandemic vibes, the part where he's like, people don't look forward to the future. That's why we like always look back to the past or whatever. I'm like, damn. That was deep. Like we all want nostalgia. We're all high on nostalgia. I mean, why do you think we have all these remakes and reboots and shit, and sequels? It's the same exact. So I think they have a chance to do some, like, make some interesting messages and choices here in this movie.
Agreed.
I'm excited to see more trailers of it, honestly, and see. But yeah, it looks good so far. I mean, Rebecca Ferguson. I mean, her in Mission Impossible. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
She's great.
And in Greatest Showman, Sleep, Sammy, she was great in that too.
They worked together already.
Hugh Jackman was all right.
Rebecca
honestly, genuinely, these are the two people in The Greatest Showman that I'm like, they were all right. Because Zac Efron's Zendaya was better.
Wow. Dude, Hugh Jackman.
The bearded woman, honestly, better.
I can't. Maybe I can see Rebecca Ferguson. Hugh Jackman, no. Can't agree
I didn't.
On that
I didn't like the character that Rebecca Ferguson was playing for reasons I already said, and also like I just do not like. I already knew the history of P.T. Barnum before, so I'm like, he just was not like Hugh Jackman. Like it was just weird to me for them to be like, he was like this, though. And I'm like, he wasn't though.
They made the founder of McDonald's. They made the founder of McDonald's Michael Keaton.
Exactly.
It's like,
I mean, he
wasn't Michael Keaton, but it's a movie. You know what I mean? I go with the movie. Yeah, it's not a documentary.
I can't do that.
It's not a documentary.
Yeah.
For some reason, Greatest Showman.
I know people were bothered by that. Yeah.
With P.T. Barnum, I'm like, I can't do it.
Anyway,
I know too much.
This trailer, though, I mean, I got fatigue of this movie already, and I'd never even seen it. I've seen this ad way too many times. No,
that's so crazy. I've had the complete opposite of you guys.
It's fucking horrible, man. It's
hilarious.
You will now. Now that like the analytics,
I believe you guys.
I
believe you guys.
A lot. Yeah.
They hear me right now talking about how I like it. And they're like, let's beep it up to his
You're about to see
YouTube account.
Yeah.
No, listen. I mean, it looks cool. I mean, it kind of like some of these shots look like Christopher Nolan level shots. I mean, they're pretty good. I mean,
I was getting some Looper ish vibes
as well. Yes,
or like
I agree.
Yeah. Kind of that steampunkish, futuristic, dystopia. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, it did look that way for sure. But yeah, either way, I'm excited. I to some degree. I mean, it's intriguing, that's for sure. Like Cisco said, I mean, I'm a big sci-fi guy myself.
It's got potential. The idea itself, whether or not they can make that a great movie, that's always the hard part in sci-fi. But they got the whole nostalgia trip. I mean, that's kind of like Total Recall as well.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Trying to give you an experience and everything like that. So
I agree.
Yeah, I'll see it. I'm a Hugh Jackman stan. I say that with no shame at all.
Me too, sir.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll
100%.
see whatever he's in.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Even the bad stuff.
Yeah, he's great. He's always good in the bad stuff. That's what makes it. But anyway, Samee.
Very true.
What do you got next?
So next up we have so IGN is reporting on this, but there's a Wired article that went out about why Netflix always seems to cancel their series after just 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting read.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. So just the overall, the kind of thing it's talking about, that it's down to, I mean, crazy numbers. To no one who would ever assume, but it's numbers and money. It's how many people are watching, how popular is the show versus how much like money did it cost to make the show and how much money will it
and new subscribers
eventually, and new subscribers. How many new subscribers did it bring in? How many people are coming just for that show? So it's this weird kind of metric thing that I guess it's like if a show has, a solid fan base, but it's not growing, then we're done.
Always
or
grow.
If or things like that, or if it had a great like first season and then nobody really came back for the second, we're done. And because this is a big thing, a lot of people talk about how Netflix is quite cutthroat with its series. I mean, there have been multiple series on Netflix that I've loved, and then suddenly I'm just like, oh, they're just done now. They're never coming back. We have those 2 seasons and we're done now. This was an interesting read.
I like how the article kind of explains. It's kind of funny, when they started, they were like the least cutthroat thing in the business, and then they
were like, whoever has an idea will take you.
I remember the Get Down though. That was one of the early ones, and they mentioned it in the article, and I was really pissed about that.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I really liked that show.
Well, I think one of the interesting things that the article highlights here too is the fact, and this is so true, the shit that they cut is stuff that people get so pissed off about, and a lot of the reason, to me, it's like, I understand where they're coming from. Of course it's money and ratings, and you know what I mean, like obviously it's that, but my problem with it is the fact that it's like, then don't invest in so much shit, because if you wouldn't like spend,
it's a machine though now. That's what they are now.
I agree, but it's like
it's turned into that at this point.
They need to be I don't know. I get that. I understand that. I was just saying that they shouldn't have bit their foot off in the first place. You know what I mean? I think that they
too much money.
Really though.
Too much money. Yeah.
Too much money, and then not enough money to do, good shit. Like it's like it's kind of a balancing act, because they're always in debt, so things are always just kind of circulating. And so it's like one of those things. But if they just didn't spend so many licensing fees on all the crap movies that they have on that service, they would save a lot of money, first of all, just from
barely any of them before like 1970.
Yeah. But Netflix became this thing of, you put it on when you need something to watch and there's nothing else on. You know what I mean? It just kind of became that thing. That's kind of what Netflix is known for, outside of their like Witcher and Stranger Things now. But it's like, it was really just mostly known for, this is the thing we put on to try to find a movie we've never seen or never heard of, and shit like that. It's just one of those things for like the most casual of audience member, and so I get that, but man, if all the quality over quantity here. Come on. I mean, let's be real. We're in the streaming wars now, and they need to make some cuts, So I think the other thing too that this article highlighted is this very viral thing that people just don't, or they can't quit talking about, the Jupiter's Legacy cancellation. I haven't seen the show. I heard it's shit, and I heard some people say I don't blame them for canceling it. But it's
sounds familiar.
It's
Who was in that? What was that?
Well, I don't know.
Is it a newer show?
Yeah, it was new.
Okay.
Like it came and went because like it was so bad on its opening that they just canceled it. They were like, oh, I don't see this working. But yeah, it was a new show that people were into, I guess, and they're pissed about it. The fact that it got cut so easily. But yeah, I don't know, Cisco. Did you have anything else you wanted to add about the article?
It's a lot to talk about, honestly. I guess TV shows have been canceled forever. Like Netflix did not start canceling shows and is the first company that has canceled shows. I mean, I'm trying to think of, Hannibal, got canceled and people fucking love that show. I'm trying to think of the other one. Serenity, is that a show or whatever?
Right.
You know what I mean? That got canceled and that's like a fan favorite now. So it's like TV cancels shows all the time, and so it's like Netflix obviously you're gonna do the same thing for like kind of the same reasons. Another thing that I thought was interesting is they brought up was that sequel seasons are like, you know what I mean, once you get past season 1 you have to spend more money, I guess, you know what I mean, because it's like they usually up the stakes of the show and like they cost more to make. And so I thought that was like an interesting nugget too, because I'm like, that is kind of true. Like you can't just do the same thing as season 1 or stay on the same budget. It's like it's gonna be more expensive. So if Netflix is already on the fence of something with the first season and then you bring them this script for season 2 and it's like this crazy expensive thing, they're gonna be like, I don't know. You're lucky if you get that season 2, and then if that season 2 is not successful, then it's like they're like, I can see why they're just pull the plug. I mean, I was pissed too with Punisher and like the MCU shows that got canceled. I mean, like season 1 is excellent, like season 2 not as good, I'll give it that, but like just John Bernthal as that character, like you had something so dynamite. And it's the same thing with like a lot of those guys with Charlie Cox as Daredevil, and like the fact that a lot of them didn't really get to finish the arcs that they got set up. It's like it's sad, honestly, but the Get Down was another one that was an early one where just like, I watched that like with my girlfriend at the time, and we just loved it. And then when they announced it got canceled, we were just like stunned. We're like, everyone we know likes the show. Like, why would they cancel this? It was like it seemed just so crazy. And that was like years ago when Netflix was first starting to make original content. And now they, like I said, they're like a machine. They just do it like on the daily, just spit stuff out and cancel whatever doesn't work. It's almost like an AI at this point. It's not even like a you know what I mean, like business decision at this point. So
100%.
There's pros and cons to both. I mean, it's like the more shit you have, the more shit like you could like potentially that you would never have seen before. But at the same time, if you do like something and you get attached to it, the chances of you getting multiple seasons are lessened now. So it's a double-edged sword that way. And I'm trying to think of the last Netflix show like I really watched, and I can't think of it, and the big part of the reason is because I know they cancel shows. So to me it honestly hurts their viewership in terms of me as a viewer, because I'm like, why am I going to get invested to have my heart ripped out again, like the Get Down or the Marvel shows and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at. But I can see both. I can see business wise, but I'm also speaking as a fan. You know what I mean? I can see.
Well, the other thing I want to point out here too, and I want to make sure I touched on this before we moved on, is their marketing is horrible. It always has been. Netflix's marketing is bad. Like shit just kind of shows up on there. It's like they didn't really push a trailer for it, and it could be the greatest
they
thing
talk
ever.
about it in the article, right? I think they mentioned that.
And it's like so that kind of upsets me in some ways too when it comes to that. It's like, why isn't your marketing better? If you think you have a hit on your hands, market it.
You gotta help them make it a hit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. You can't just like throw it on there and expect everybody in the world to watch it. I know that's like how a lot of people operate. They'll watch something new because it's on Netflix, but that's not everybody. That's not me, Cisco, or Samee. We want to see a sample of it before we, get into it. We're not just gonna sit there and watch it because it's new on Netflix. I know some people are that way. Again, I get that.
And I mean, a lot of it's word of mouth, though, too. Yeah. I feel with Netflix, especially with all streaming services. Like, I'm trying to think back, like the last couple of Netflix shows that I've loved. I'm like, did I really know about them until they actually came out? Thinking like Bridgerton, I don't think I knew until like the week before it came out. Queen's Gambit, I don't think it was even on my radar until it was
Queen's
out.
Gambit, but anyway.
See, but I think that's different because that's limited series. Like I'm much more prone to watch that than like I remember Umbrella Academy is an example of something you gotta watch it, bro. You gotta watch it. I'm like, let me know when they get past season 3, and then I'll think about watching it because I'm tired of getting invested in stuff and having, like I said, my heart ripped out by Netflix.
By the way, they still haven't. Funny you bring that up because they still haven't announced a renewal for.
Haven't announced it. That was an article
too. Yeah.
So exactly, and season 3 is the number. They usually cancel shows after season 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. You know, it's funny. Last night I couldn't sleep. So sometimes I'll just do this thing where this is just me. I'm like, I'm gonna see what's on all the platforms, just as an experiment. Like what's expiring at the end of this month?
Right.
What do I have to see? Stuff like that. And I'm looking. Netflix had some like that, but they're mostly shows that like were old that they have on there. I think that's the stuff that I was most interested in. HBO Max has way more stuff where I'm like, I could watch that. I would watch that. I would watch that. It's crazy. It's crazy how much more that they've got a whole in such a short time. They've got so much better content and stuff that I'm like more willing to watch. Then I mean Netflix, like I said, I'll still give it like because I like I said, I went down all of them. I would say Hulu is not doing well as far as choices. I was barely any for Hulu, and then like Showtime and Stars, they had a bunch of older titles that like I heard about and stuff like that, so they got a good grasp of that stuff. But you would think Netflix would be the main one because they're the first one, they're the biggest name, but I think quickly HBO Max is like really stepped. I mean, Disney too really didn't have as much. The other stuff doesn't expire though either, so it's like they have so much. And they got Loki comes out tomorrow, so I'm gonna be watching that. But it's true because with Disney and HBO, like they own so much of their catalog. You know, they don't have to rent it out from other people. Like the classic Disney movies will always be on Disney Plus. Like, and there's so many things owned by HBO that will just never not be on HBO Max. You know, even so like Friends when it came up as Warner Brothers on there, I was like, oh shit, I didn't even know that. But then that's why they can have it on there, and you never have to worry about them like expiring. You know, so yeah.
Well, the one thing I want to add to here, just real quick before we move on, I did an episode of the Dom's Corner podcast a long time ago, before I even knew you two, and it was called "Why Netflix Sucks," and we talked about this very thing, and it was everything that we just touched on.
I hope you spelled sucks SUX.
Oh, I should. That's a good dude.
Why
I didn't
Netflix
think of that.
sucks.
See, this is why you should have been with me back then, not Ian.
But, I get paid the big bucks.
Yes, exactly.
Make the money, make the real money.
Yep. Oh my god.
Anyway, Samee, what sucks?
I only accept credits.
I
only accept Star Wars credits. That's payment.
Except coins. I accept Super Mario Brothers.
I was wondering the last Bad Batch, Dom, or not this newest one, but the one where they get paid credits or whatever. I'm like, how the fuck does the credit stuff work? They just look like tablets of medicine. Like what? What is a credit worth in American dollars? Has there been an article written on this? I'd like to break this down. What's a credit? Is a credit like one of those tabs, or could you like break the tab? Like what?
What happens if you break a tab? Right.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt will do an op-ed on it here pretty soon. I'm sure we could all read it.
Perfect.
Anyway, what's your
what's next
story? So this is our last story for today.
All right, cool.
And it is Brian Fuller is writing to direct a new Blumhouse movie, which is going to be an adaptation of Stephen King's Christine. So I think I'm just going to throw it straight to Cisco on this one because you're a resident horror guy.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes,
take it away.
So this news really blew me away and came out of nowhere because I was telling you guys like earlier, but like I listened to this podcast called The King Cast. It's about all things Stephen King. They have celebrities and stuff come on talk about whatever they want to talk about, like whatever book, movie they want to talk about. Every time Brian Fuller has come on, this dude blows me away. Like his knowledge of Stephen King, his knowledge of horror in general. He's like smart as fuck. Like he's just like, he looks at Christine. He had a couple episodes he did with them. But the episode on Christine in particular was so interesting. He was looking at Christine from a trans perspective about the car being in and kind of controlling the main guy and like being in a body that is not yours. It was just like, I was like, I never even thought to even think of that, but it's like, it makes sense. It made so much sense, like, because he has like a love with this car, this kind of relationship that's like you would never think about. And so he just does that every time. So then when they announced that he's doing Christine, I'm like, this is perfect. He sold me on his Christine movie in that episode. You know what I mean? So I just know, like, I've seen a couple Hannibal episodes and just those, that interview or whatever, and like, you know, Blumhouse is doing it. I always talk about how much I'm a fan of Blumhouse and what they're doing. Just ordered a bunch of their Blu-ray titles last week actually. And so I mean, I think Christine is one too, where we always talk about remakes and stuff, you know, IRO, but Christine is not my favorite John Carpenter movie, honestly. It's good, I like it, but it's one of those where I always think a good remake is one that can improve on it or has the potential to be a different version of it that can possibly be even better. And I think Christine, that this could be it. I think Christine is one of those. They also announced the Firestarter remake, but I don't really know who's doing that one. But it's like it seems like the 80s, like lesser Stephen King movies or adaptations are getting updates, and I'm all for that. Like to me, that's what a remake should be: is you remake something that really didn't hit the first time, but there's a good story in there. And so, but maybe it just wasn't the right director or the right people working on that movie. So I think Brian Fuller, man, like he just has a love and passion for it, though, where it just makes me excited. I think he's gonna do something that. And they're keeping it in the 80s too, which I like. It's going to be a period piece. So I think that's another smart decision. But that's pretty much all we know. But I mean, I'm just excited on that alone.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing I'll throw on top of that is like movies like Firestarter and Christine. I mean, the other smart thing about rebooting them is not only are they movies that can be approved on, but they already kind of have a built-in fan base to them as well. So they kind of have their own cult following. So it's good business. But you know, I mean, Christine, I agree, man. It's one of, as far as like John Carpenter films go, it's definitely one of the lesser ones. And
it's not a great King story either. Like, to be fair to Carpenter, it's like a haunted car. But there's still, you could still improve on it, I think.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a steelbook of it somewhere because I get all of Carpenter's movies on steelbook if I can. I don't know why, it's just like a tradition of mine. Once a steelbook,
I think I have it just a regular Blu-ray of it, but yeah, I have it too.
But either way, it's one of the lesser ones in my opinion as well. And I mean, Blumhouse is doing The Fog also, so I'm really excited to just see them.
I didn't see that one either.
Damn, I'm really excited that Blumhouse is taking these.
I like The Fog a lot, though. I don't know.
Me too. I'm a huge fan of The Fog. Yeah, I agree.
How do you outdo his Fog movie, man?
But they're taking Carpenter stuff and they're rebooting it, and it's interesting. I mean, I hope that they do well with it. I, like you, Cisco, I'm a huge fan of what Blumhouse does. They make movies for cheap and they make a lot of money. I think it's a really good business.
Love it.
You know, and they really know how to make some fun stuff for cheap or not a lot of money. I mean, look at Invisible Man. I mean, that thing like tripled its money before the pandemic because of how cheap it was to make. It's like, oh my god, like when you really look at how much it made, it's incredible how low they can or how cheap they can make these. So yeah, I hope they just keep doing that, and if they make money off it, great. They have a really good business strategy to do it. But no, as far as the Christine remake, I'm looking forward to that. What you were saying about Brian Fuller sounds really interesting. I'm gonna go try to find that when we're done here, and see if I could find a clip of him talking about it, because that'd be really I'd love to hear his take. And
I have a fun fact, by the way, too, which I just thought of. Are you guys ready for this?
Go ahead.
This is not the first King adaptation that Brian Fuller has worked on. Do you guys know what other property he worked on before?
I bet you.
This was early in his career, by the way. So that's not a lot of people know. One of his first.
Is it Cat's Eye?
Not Cat. It's a more famous property. It's a more famous property. No,
that was Rob Reiner.
Horror. It's a horror one.
It.
No.
Nope.
It wasn't it.
I don't know. Those are my guesses.
Let me think. I'll get it. Is it The Stand?
Early 2000s.
Oh, early 2000s. Red
No.
Rose.
You're almost in
Green
the ballpark.
Mile?
Red Rose?
No.
Was it Red Rose?
Horror. It's more of a horror.
It's horror, is what you said. Horror.
One of the most popular King titles, horror.
Carrie. I know.
There you go.
Carrie. It is Carrie.
Yep, Samee got it.
The remake of Carrie.
Early
the
2000s.
TV adaptation.
Oh right, they
TV
did
adaptation
do that.
of Carrie.
Oh,
That's right.
okay.
That was a thing.
Fuller wrote the teleplay for it.
Okay.
It's not that great, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I watched it
was
recently for the first time.
Yeah.
It tries to be way too much like the De Palma movie, honestly.
Right.
But I just think that's, I mean, like I said, he's a King fan.
Yeah.
You know, that just tells me though that he's familiar with King.
Yeah.
He worked with King, and he's gonna at least try. I mean, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's grown how much in his career now, where it's not going to be the Carrie, you know, TV movie. It's gonna be better than that. I can confidently say.
Great.
I think it'll be better than that.
Yeah, could be awesome. I hope so.
Yeah.
So that was the last of the stories. Am I correct there, Samee?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That was all the stories. Yep.
Great. All right. I just want to thank everybody for joining today. This is going to wrap up the show. We're going to get out of here. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, and hit that bell for notifications if you haven't done so. I want to thank my wonderful panelists here today. And Samee, where can people find you before we go?
Yeah, you guys can find me over on Instagram. I am at Samee Ramirez 14, also on Twitter at Samee Ramirez, and then also on Stereo doing shows weekly with Dom and Cisco, getting a whole bunch of people in there. And that's at Samee Ramirez. And then movie night as well every Monday right here on the Anorak Entertainment Podcast. Yep. It's my show that I'm hosting, and we're doing spoiler reviews. So go ahead and check that out. Our most recent one's on Cruella. So check that out if you'd like. It'd be great.
Oh yeah. And Cisco, where can people find you?
You can find me at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Misfit_Minded, and Stereo at Misfit_Minded. And you can find all of my shows there, including Movie Buffs, which is a show I do about action movies every week. Last week we did The Night Comes for Us, which is like an Asian martial arts movie. It was insane. I loved it. It's the guys who did The Raid. It was just balls to the wall action the entire time. It's crazy. And this week we're back and we're doing the Rush Hour trilogy on Friday, which I'm really excited about. I have a very soft spot for those movies, which I'll be diving into on Friday. And then my show Saturday Matinee, which I do on Stereo, we're going to be doing In the Heights review, and then also West Side Story, which I've never seen. It'll be my first time watching West Side Story. Samee.
Oh, nice.
So you'll be proud of me for that, I know.
Can't wait to hear what you think about it. I'm excited. I feel like you're going to like it. So
it's Edwin. Edwin told me it's his favorite musical. So, I mean, I have high hopes for it. And also we're going to be doing Loki reviews now that Loki's on there. Yep. So every Saturday, and you can catch that at Sat Matinee Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on Stereo at Misfit_Minded. And then covering the Full Frame Film Festival as well over at ashfilmmovies.com too, which is just a bunch of great documentaries that a team of us are reviewing, and we're rolling that out over the next couple of days. I think we're almost done. Probably by tomorrow or sometime this week we'll be done covering it. But a lot of good titles that other people have written about I really want to see, and I think I got lucky with like at least one or two of the ones that I actually got that I wrote about. So check that out too.
For myself, you could find me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_, and then on Instagram, Dom_Martino_official, to stay updated on everything going on here and with myself. I'm on Stereo with Samee, like she said, every Wednesday. Her and I have been doing a show. Cisco's been able to chime in too now, which is great, with that new feature. Love it. Yes,
love the co-host feature.
It's wonderful. And more, and much more. We've been getting a lot of people, so it's been fun. And then on Sundays I've been doing a show with your boy Cisco, Star Wars Sundays. We've been trying to do that in the afternoons on Stereo too.
Is that Jose? Jose, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, we've been we've been kind of collaborating on that. I don't have a set time for that. We just do it on Sunday afternoons at some point, guys. So whenever I can make it, essentially. But yeah, anyway, so that's been fun, and then we are gonna have a guest next week. Lotus Beam is going to, not next week, I'm sorry, on Saturday. Our guest on the Anorak Entertainment Podcast is going to be Lotus Beam. So look forward to that. She's starting up a podcast about motivational type stuff, and that's going to be something we're going to try to do for the Saturday show. Every time is to have a new guest, hopefully. And so yeah, it's something we're excited to try to do. Like I said, we're going to be starting the monthly Mumble this week, hopefully, as well, with myself and Adam Leach, and I'm keeping busy. But yeah, guys,
got to,
yeah, exactly. But anyway, guys, and also check out my one-off reviews I've been doing here on the channel as well. Those little 15-minute segments.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I've seen a couple of them.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate that.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, and this show is on Spotify also. So anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap up. I want to thank everybody for joining again, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night. Later.